In a recent interview with Empire, Filoni talks about what it's like writing for the Ahsoka show, and Kathleen Kennedy talks about the current state of the sequels and where it might go in the future. So let's get started. At this point, it's no real surprise to say that the sequel trilogy was divisive, and so too were its characters. Especially characters such as Rey and Rose Tico, they were basically the focal point of warranted and unwarranted criticisms of the sequel trilogy. One of the biggest criticisms by far was how underdeveloped many of these characters were, either because of the lack of screen time or lack of proper planning. Characters such as Finn and Poe were definitely one of the few who suffered. But regardless of whether or not you love or hate the sequels, like or dislike the characters, I think we can agree that these characters that we were introduced to has a lot of potential. A potential for expanded stories and deeper explorations. In a recent interview with the Empire magazine regarding the state of Star Wars, Kennedy talked about the direction of the sequel trilogy and where these characters are headed towards. According to Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars fans have not seen the last of the sequel trilogy characters, and that the franchise moving forward will begin to focus more intently on these characters. According to the president herself, she has said that these are characters that Lucasfilm will not forget, they will continue to live on, and is something that the creative team is looking into. In recent times, Star Wars has released a ton of sequel material, trying to further flesh out this era of Star Wars ever since The Rise of Skywalker in 2019. Comics, novels, and other mediums are busy trying to fill in on the potential questions left unanswered by the films, and in that process adding more color to the characters as well. And in real life, there has certainly been a demand from fans and actors alike for a more in-depth revisit of these sequel characters. John Boyega in particular has been quite vocal about his dissatisfaction over Finn's arc, and now seeing the secondary characters such as Boba Fett are getting their own shows, it wouldn't be a surprise if Lucasfilm decides to take one of the many smaller characters introduced in the sequels and make something of it. So as to what they will do next is still very much up in the air, but the affirmation from Kathleen Kennedy reminds us, and lucky for sequel fans, that we have not seen the last of the sequel characters. In another interview, Filoni shared some of his thoughts about writing the script for Ahsoka. As we all know, Ahsoka is essentially the one Star Wars creation that is very close to Filoni's heart, and a character that has become one of fan favorites as well. And given that the show promises to feature Thrawn, Sabine, Ezra, and Anakin, it's no surprise that it is highly anticipated among fans. The show is currently in the writing phase, and so Filoni opens up about his progress so far. According to Filoni, he describes the writing process as extremely thrilling and something that he has been imagining for a very long time. Filoni calls it startling that he has been given the opportunity to dictate the direction of Ahsoka's story. The director recalls that years ago, he would never have imagined that the lead-in to a live-action Ahsoka show would stem from characters such as Din Djarin or Grogu, much less from other creatives such as Jon Favreau, who has lent a helping hand in getting his project off the ground. And so I am sure we are all glad that Filoni is living the dream and really enjoying what he's doing. I for one can't wait to see what he comes up with. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.